Hello everyone, welcome to the cast. My name is Fear Dragon, and today I'm joined here with Tempo Starcraft. Say hello, Tempo.
Hey, what up everybody?
Alright, we're gonna go ahead and jump into this game and introduce the players as we spawn down here in the bottom side of the map, Vonnie Research Station, with the red Protoss player. It is Xdeath.
And his opponent spawning on the north side of the map of Vonnie, it is gonna be ZizLah. It's like
ZizLah. Yeah.
ZizLah.
We got like our heavy metal rock band Protoss player, Xdeath. And then we got someone who is repping Outback Steakhouse, ZizLah.
Yeah. A Korean barbecue, baby. And he is a Terran player, so if he doesn't make like aliens like roasting some, well, I guess there are no drones in this matchup, but
yeah, I mean, probes can get roasted too, Tempo, and it's so apt that you actually bring up the Hellions, because for those who don't know, ZizLah actually has been making a series, a YouTube series, on how to mech, including in Protoss versus Terran, which is the matchup that everyone's just like, okay, look, if you're meching in this matchup, it's a gimmicky thing, it's not gonna fly, you're gonna get just like wrecked by anyone who knows what they're doing, but ZizLah really feels like he has a meching style that works, so I'm interested in seeing what that's gonna be, because that's what I'm anticipating this game to be.
All right. Something to definitely keep in mind as we do start out the game. Yeah, I mean, I've only seen it a few times, to be honest, and usual maps that you'll see it on are things like Vonnie. I mean, this is Vonnie. Things like Deadwing, you know, like big maps where you can take the whole map and kind of chill back.
Yeah. So places where there's not too much pressure or anything like that to deal with. I guess one of the problems with this on the big maps, though, with Mech, I think, is that you have a hard time moving out. But
yeah.
I think the biggest problem that a lot of Terran players face when they go for Mech is they end up having a lot of trouble. Oh, actually, a cute little engineering bay block over here from ZizLah. But yeah, a lot of Terran players just have trouble with...
Bam.
Ooh, the Immortals. It's the Immortals that cause a lot of problems, because, you know, the Immortals, they'll deal with Hellions, they'll deal with Siege Tanks, they'll deal with Hellbats, you get the Robotics Zone, you have the Observers ready to be made against Banshees. It's just, they deal with so many things that a Terran player wants to make.
No, I 100% agree with you in that, and that is why most people will say that, especially, so I feel like, hey, if ZizLah is going to go into that, then maybe he has a way of, I would say, using that information, like, you know, like, okay, Protoss knows exactly how to do it, how to deal with it, so, you know, kind of play around that and, you know, make some kind of build a strategy that will not even care about that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, SCV does come in, as we saw earlier. It built that engineering bay and blocked the Nexus from going down for a little bit longer than the Pros player probably would have liked. And in the meanwhile, ZizLah gets up his own command center, and he opened up gasless for a while, but now we end up seeing double gas geysers coming out. Kind of interesting. I mean, this is not exactly the normal flow of a Terran player, to get out just like a couple of Marines and then just double gas it up.
Double gas right off the bat, yeah. It would almost look like it was CC first, but no, that command center is going down right now. And looking like Xdeath, though, is going to be setting up pretty normally himself. But he's on 2 gases himself. But there's no probe on the map, so it doesn't look like he's going to try to go for like a proxy oracle. And it will be a robo immediately, so super standard already.
And I'm actually really happy that it's going to be a robo, because this might be a little bit of a better tell of, you know, a Protoss player that has the potential to make the Observers as well as the Immortals, and how they will normally react to this kind of mech play. So should give us a good example. But man, I gotta say, the way that ZizLah opened it almost kind of reminds me of like a Zerg opening up, like, you know you have the Zergs opening up gasless sometimes. Well, they'll go for the relatively fast expansion and everything. They'll get up a handful, like a small number of Zergs, and then they'll just sit back, and then they'll suddenly double gas it up and get a huge influx of gas to go straight up to a starport. It kind of reminds me of that.
Well, this is interesting, as he did already drop down a factory, and then the second one coming down. And the Stalker trying to poke at the front, not even going to see those Marines, and that is a lot of Marines here. So even if it was an Oracle opener, I'm sure that ZizLah would be able to deal with it.
Yeah.
But with the double factory and the reactor going on the first one, there's also an armory here too. as well as a starport. So, you know, you look at that and you may think like, oh, like crazy, either Widowmine or Hellbat drop.
Yeah.
You see the armory and think of Hellbat drop, but then, you know, it still even almost looked like it would be some kind of Widowmine drop. There wasn't a armory here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're gonna
Crazy one.
Yes, seriously. And we're starting to see exactly why you need those double gas guys to support this kind of crazy factory production. But we got just actually an upgrade coming out of the factory. In the meanwhile, Hellion's going to be popping out. So Tempo, you weren't too far off the mark when you suggested the Hellion opening. But Observer's going to be coming out from Xdeath, and he's going to have his first little bit of visibility into what ZizLah has been doing so far. And I think that's going to heavily change the way he's reacting. But he's already going for a fairly early robotics bay. I mean, it's not the earliest robotics bay, but it's still a little bit early.
Yeah, and it's like the first kind of tech that he's going for, right? He started off with the Robo. Before scouting, already started the Robo bay, and now he sees, oh, whoa, double factory in the armory, as well as a starport with the reactor getting completed. And is he going to react correctly here? He even is able to see the Hellbat's morphing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he sees the armory and everything, so he should know that the Hellbat capability was there, even if it wasn't. But, I mean, seeing the Hellbat's morphing actually is sort of interesting, right? Because he says, oh, wait a second, are you not going to, like, load up 4 Hellions into a medevac and drop them and then turn them into Hellbats or something like that? No, he sees that there's probably going to be some big push across the map, and it looks like 2 Hellbats going to be left around for when these medevacs pop out. Might go for a drop there. Or maybe
he could.
A miss rally. I'm not sure. Looks like a miss.
Well, even the Observer, looking for drops and whatnot. And I think a really cool part about going Mech is that as a Protoss player, you can already see that Xdeath had his own game plan, right? So now he has to think on the fly, how am I going to deal with whatever it is? Because the unfamiliarity is there for sure. A lot of players. Shows. Not many people play.
That shows. I think that's such a good point because Xdeath, I mean, he's getting like slightly supply block with those Colossus coming out, kind of delaying his units, and it's because he's having to adapt, as you were saying, Tempo. Adding on the extra gateway, getting up cannons because he's worried about Widow Mines or, you know, other things just moving into his mineral line. He's not sure what. Suddenly when you're dealing with the Mech, you start to think like, oh god, could there be Banshees coming? Like, am I prepared for this? Even with the Observers out, it's still a frustrating possibility.
Yeah. So let's see what it is that he decides to do. It looks like a lot of Stalkers is going to be his choice, as well as getting that Twilight. So he's still committing to the Colossus, though. And even if he were to start Immortal production, this is an... going ahead. Force Field's going down on the bio, but the Hellbats are going to drop on all of the Stalkers.
Oh, man. And the Hellbats are doing a lot of damage to these Stalkers. They're soaking up. God, he has so many Tempo, this is a ridiculous number of Hellbats.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, you know how Hellions are pretty okay against Stalkers, right? Well, Hellbats are even better if you can get... Seeing it already as Xdeath is realizing that. But what I was trying to say earlier is that imagine if he did open up Immortal, it wouldn't matter because none of these units actually take extra damage from Immortals anyway.
Oh my god, Xdeath gonna be tapping out as the Hellbats. I mean, loading up the Hellbats into the medevacs makes it so difficult because the Protoss players just don't have enough Stalkers at this stage in the game to kill off those medevacs fast enough. They can't really do much about it. And besides that, the Hellbats are only costing minerals. I mean, once you get that armory down, as well as the double factories, you're basically just creating mineral sinks into making things that are hyper tanky. And when they're gonna kill off the sentries, they're gonna kill off any zealots that are there. And after that, it's just like there's enough of them to deal with the Stalkers.
Exactly, yeah. Those medevacs, man. Getting right on top of everything, pretty much.
Yeah, very cool build. I want to note behind all this, ZizLah was going for the 3rd, which is actually a really cool thing. Because he could have actually, like, you think about Mech and you think, oh man, this army is going to be really hard to replace. This is not a hard army to replace. Yeah.
Yeah. No, not at all. Like, none of the gas really was showing there, right? You can pretty much do whatever you want, whether it be Cloak Banshee or who knows what.
Yeah.
That's to follow it up with.
Exactly. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed that game, and thank you very much to ZizLah for submitting it. And be sure, guys, to check out Tempo over on his YouTube, Twitch, etc. I'm pretty sure that you guys could just Google Tempo StarCraft, and you'll find literally just all of the Tempo, more Tempo than you will know what to do with. But not too much, because you can never have too much Tempo.
Never have too much Tempo.
All right, have a wonderful day, guys.
Take care, Al.